Hello to all my story lovers. Welcome back in Story Time channel. I'm Pallavi reading interesting stories for you. Today the story taken from the Jataka tells. Story name is Kush and Prabhavati. Let's go to the story. Hundreds of years ago, the king Okak ruled the city of Kushavati. He had several queens. The eldest of them was named Shilvati. King Okak was blessed with almost all desirables. He had just one worry. He was childless. In fact, he had married so many queens just to have a child. But no queen could bear any child for him. The queen Shilvati was a religious woman. She had worshipped Lord Indra for several years to get the boon of a son. At last, Lord Indra appeared before her and spoke. Queen, I am very pleased with your worship and devotion. I know about your wish. You want to become mother of a son, isn't it? Yes, my lord, the queen politely said. I don't want to die without becoming mother. I will grant you your wish. I bless you to have two sons. One of them will be very wise but ugly. The other one will be very handsome but stupid. Tell me, which one would you like to have first? Give me the wise one first, the queen replied. So be it. And the Lord Indra disappeared. In due time, Shilvati gave birth to a son. There was a great rejoicing in the palace. The people were also very happy because they had their future king. The king's life was now full in all respects. Newborn was named as Kush. Time went on. Prince Kush started growing up as the darling of his parents and he loved one of all the others. 2 years passed. Shilvati born another son. The child was very cute. The king named him Jayampati. As Kush reached the age of understanding things around, he started wondering why God made him so ugly. He gave him royal parents but denied him beauty. Why? He realized that if he had to earn respect in the society and among the subject, he must develop exceptional qualities and skills to overcome his ugliness. This thought made him seriously learn various arts and crafts. With hard work, he became expert in music, painting, and sculpture. Everyone admired his arts. Now, he was a lad of 20 years. One day, the king and the queen discussed about him. The king said, Queen, our Kush is now a young man of 20 years. I want to see him in the throne. But first he must get married. That is also my wish, O Lord. The queen agreed. All right, we shall look out for a suitable girl for him. And king went to talk to his ministers and other courtiers. When Kush heard about the wish of his parents, he became sad. He thought no princess would like to marry an ugly boy like him. But how can I tell this thing to my parents? It will hurt them. Some days later, the royal priest informed the king and queen about the daughter of Mud King and the princess of Sagal Prabhavati. The priest suggested that Prabhavati would be a perfect match for Kush. They started thinking over it. After some time, the king Okak summoned his agents and ordered them to go to a sagal with The proposal of Princess Prabhavati's wedding with Kush. The agents went to the court of Mud King, the father of the Princess Prabhavati. They introduced themselves and announced, King, our King Okok wishes to make his valiant elder son the heir of the throne. On this behalf, we propose the alliance between our crown prince and your daughter. The king gladly accepted the proposal. The agents triumphantly returned to their king to convey the good news. The king Okok was overjoyed to hear the report of his agents. He at once approached the queen and gave her the news. Dear queen, the Princess Prabhavati's father has accepted our proposal. We must reach Sagal with our marriage party to solemnize the wedding. Right, the queen agreed. I can't wait. The very next day they set out for Sagal. In Sagal, the Mud King, his queen Prabhavati, and her even sisters gave them a hearty welcome. Prabhavati touched the feet of her would-be mother-in-law. The Queen Shilvati blessed her. When the formal talks of marriage began, Shilvati thought of the ugliness of her son. He could spoil the things. She began thinking of some way of not letting Prabhavati see the face of her son Kush, at least till she became pregnant. Their meeting must occur only during the periods of darkness. An idea came to her mind. She said to Mud King, O King, your daughter is fit to be our son's wife. But we have a strange custom which we observe strictly. We want to know if your daughter would agree to it. Otherwise, everything else is settled. What a custom, O Queen? Mud King asked. A wife does not see the face of her husband until she gives birth to her first child. Does Prabhavati agree to it? Prabhavati was asked. She had no objection in observing that custom. The marriage was solemnized. Precious gifts were exchanged. Mud King and the queen saw off their daughter along with her nursemaids. In a glittering ceremony, the king Okak formally appointed Kush as the crown prince. Kush was an expert in many arts. He was specially proficient in playing veena, which charmed every listener. One day he was playing a sweet tune of his veena sitting alone. Prabhavati heard the sweet music and got enamored. She thought, what enchanting music he plays! How sweet! A person whose music is so beautiful must be cute to look at. Kush was lost in similar thoughts. He had also not seen the face of her wife. Kush became restless, wishing to see her wife's face. His mother had forbidden him from doing so. One day he went to his mother and insisted, Mother, please let me see her just for once only. No, son, not yet. The mother said, Wait till she becomes mother of your child. But mother, I can't wait. All right, tomorrow I will take Prabhavati to show our elephant stable. Be there in the guise of an elephant caretaker. Must have a peep at Prabhavati. Do not betray your true identity in any manner. She must not know. Kush agreed to it. The next day he went to the elephant stable and put on the uniform of an elephant caretaker. As promised, the queen brought Prabhavati to the stable. Her beauty stunned Kush. He could not believe that such a girl could exist in real life. She was really out of the world beauty. Now Kush wanted to test her temperament. He picked up some stable dirt and threw it at Prabhavati. This enraged her. Prabhavati angrily walked to him and spat, "You ugly ape, how dare you? I will have my husband cut off your hands." Somehow the queen quietened her and dragged her away from the stable. Now Kush was certain that the woman was his wife Prabhavati. Had she not become angry, he would have doubted on her being a human being. He became more anxious to meet her. Prabhavati was making similar demands from Queen. She wanted to see the face of her husband just for once. But the Queen would always put her off by saying, "No, daughter, do not insist on time. It will be a bad sign or omen, and it is matter of just a few weeks. Once you become a mother, you can see him. After that, you can go on seeing his face all time, all your life." But Prabhavati was losing her patience. She kept pressing the queen. The queen had to give in. She said to Prabhavati, "All right, tomorrow my son will go out on a tour of a city. You can watch him from your window." Queen Shrilvati had thought of a plan to trick Prabhavati. She sent younger son Jayampati to go out on an elephant in a royal dress. Kush was asked to sit with him in the guise of a servant and fan him. Naturally, Prabhavati would take Jayampati to be her husband, and later she won't be able to accuse the queen of playing a trick because Kush would also be on elephant as promised by queen. Prabhavati got tricked, but Kush too couldn't miss the chance of gazing at her, and he waved his hand to her. Prabhavati could not tolerate the impudence of a servant. She asked the queen to punish the servant. The queen tried to put her off by changing the subject, and Kush again waved to her. This gave her food for thought. She began suspecting, could he be her real husband? The same servant had thrown dirt at her at the stable, and the queen was acting shifty. The sight of Prabhavati so charmed Kush that he wished to see her face again and again. He pleaded with her mother for one more chance. He was begging for it. On the other side, the queen took pity on her son and considered his request again. She said, "Son, if you are so eager to see her, to go to the lotus pool, I will bring her there on some pretext." Kush went to the lotus pool and hid himself in the foliage of the water plants. A short while later, the queen and Prabhavati arrived there. The beauty of pool forced Prabhavati to wish to go for a swim. She descended into the water and splashed around. A flower in the foliage caught her attention, and she extended her hand to pluck it. Kush, who was hiding there, could not help grabbing her pretty hand. Finding Kush there made her scream. The crown prince gave her his real introduction. It shocked her, and she passed out. The maids carried her back to the palace and began her treatment. After some time regained her consciousness, she said to her nursemaid and other maids, "From the very beginning I suspected that something was wrong. The first I saw him in the elephant stable. Then he appeared to me sitting on the elephant and acted strangely to attract my attraction. And when in Lotus Pool he gave me his real introduction, there was no doubt left that he was my husband. Kush. He is skilled and brave prince, but he is too ugly for me to accept my husband. His face is repulsive. I would like to go back to my parents. The agents who had gone to Sagal with the proposal were summoned and told by Prabhavati, "Prepare a chariot for me. I am going back to my parental home. I don't want to live here any more." The agent said, "As you wish, princess. We shall seek permission from the king and the queen. If they allow us, we shall do as you say." The agents went to crown Prince Kush, who was to become the king very next day. So he was the virtual king. He heard what the agents said. Kush spoke. "At this moment, Prabhavati is too upset and angry. We can't stop her. Take her to her parents. Later I will bring her back with her own consent." Kush became the king, but he was not happy because without Prabhavati life looked barren to him. There was no happiness. He could not even rule the kingdom properly and was always pining. At last, Kush set out to win back Prabhavati's with the permission of his mother. He worked out a plan. Kush reached Sagal and managed to get a job in the royal kitchen. He put in a lot of hard work to become an expert cook. His artistic mind always came up with new recipes. One day he was cooking a special dish. Its flavor reached to the nostrils of the king. The king asked the chief cook, "Who is cooking inside?" "We have a new cook, O king," he replied. "Get me some of what he is cooking. I have never smelled such a tasty flavor." The dish delighted the king's palate. He ordered that the new cook would cook food for the royal members then on. Now Kush could go inside the inner palace where he hoped to meet Prabhavati. He was very eager to see her. The next day, Prabhavati happened to glance inside the royal kitchen from her window. Seeing Kush working there as a cook enraged her besides evoking her pity. She marched down to the kitchen and spoke to Kush. "Kush, I hate the very sight of your ugly face. Why do you waste your time in winning my favor? I won't ever go with you. You may return to your Kushavati. I won't go without you, Prabhavati." Kush said, "I don't want kingdom. I want your love. I can give up throne and crown for it." This worried Prabhavati, because if he revealed that he was the king, the Kush, then her stand would weaken because he was her legal husband. Others could side with him. She quietly withdrew. Kush got busy in his cooking work. He hoped that his persistence and doggedness would reward him with success someday. Prabhavati would yield, he thought. 8 months went by. Kush began losing hope. He said to himself, 8 months are gone, but the ice maiden Prabhavati is showing no signs of melting. She doesn't even come anywhere near to me. She hates me so much. So why should I be so crazy for her and ruin my kingdom? In this way, I will lose my self respect. I must forget about this obstinate woman and return home. Lord Indra knew the thoughts of Kush. He was very upset. After all, Kush was a product of his boon, and Prabhavati's behavior was insult to Kush and to him. Indra decided to intervene to set things right and punish Prabhavati for her cruelty. He thought of a plan. Indra sent invitation to 7 kings on behalf of the king of the Sagal, the father of Prabhavati. Each letter stated that the king of Sagal wanted to marry his daughter Prabhavati to him and asked the king to reach with his army for the wedding. In reply, 7 kings reached Sagal with their armies to marry Prabhavati. When the kings learned that all of them had been invited for the same purpose, they got angry for the cheating. The kings gave ultimatum to the father of Prabhavati. Give Prabhavati to us all or prepare for war. Sagal king was in serious trouble. All the invited kings were adamant on their demand. Sagal king could not afford war. The only way was to cut Prabhavati into 7 pieces and send a piece to every king. When the queen heard about it, she wailed, "Oh, what a weak thing you are going to do! How can you chop your own daughter into 7 pieces? There is no alternative, dear queen." The king said helplessly, "It is a desperate situation. If I gave Prabhavati to any one of them, the other six would make mincemeat of us. It is all due to Prabhavati's own fault. Why did she leave Kush, a great king of exceptional qualities? Let her suffer for it. Otherwise, our entire population will get butchered." When Prabhavati heard about it, she was scared for her life. She ran to her mother and pleaded, "Mother, save my life, please." "But what can I do, darling?" the queen lamented. "I wish the king Kush were here. Then no one would have dared to touch you." Prabhavati wept bitterly and confided to her mother, "He is here, mother. Come, I will show you." She led her mother to the kitchen and pointed to a cook. "Look, that one in cook's dress is the king Kush. He had come here to take me back." The frightened Prabhavati fell at the feet of the king Kush and said, "Master, please forgive me. I am culprit. I will never again trouble you all my life. Save me. This body which had made me a vain person is about to be cut in 7 pieces. Don't worry, nobody is going to touch you. But how would you fight against these 7 kings? Leave that to me. You go to your chamber and pretty up. Wait for me there," Kush said. Then Kush went to meet those 7 invited kings. He introduced himself. The kings were impressed because the valor of Kush was known to all kings. And he used diplomacy as well, a clever move. The 7 sisters of Prabhati were married to the invited kings. No king had any complaint now. Kush returned to Kushavati with Prabhavati and lived happily ever after. Moral of the story: patience, hard work, and wisdom are the keys to success. Now, this is the end of the story. Do you like it? Then tell me in the comment box and subscribe our channel. Bye bye.